What's up guys, Kron's here and welcome back to Everlasting Summer. Where we last left off, we'd lost a game against ULYANA, but actually went back and played against Elisa and lost against her instead. But I decided to continue with our previous path, since that seems to be alright. And so yeah. The night left a feeling of anxiety behind. I woke up exhausted, both physically and mentally. It happens to me all the time. You see incredibly lucid images in your dream, as if you fell into a Hollywood blockbuster with a plot full of twists, well-paid actors, and multi-million-dollar visual effects. And then you wake up in the morning without remembering a thing. That's what I was trying to do, to restore the images shown by my relaxed brain. But that part of my memory was empty, either archived or formatted completely. It's 7 AM according to the clock. I seem to be an early bird today. Olga Dmitrovna was still sleeping, wrapped tightly in her blanket. Wrapped so tightly in a hot summer? I do that. I got up, stretched, and went to the mirror to have a look at myself. I'd better shave. Strange idea. Before twice a month was enough, and now nothing depends on the way I look. I haven't found a razor anyway. Why do I even need it if I'm going to look like I'm 17 at most? So, breakfast can't start earlier than 9 AM, and this means I have plenty of time, which I can spend on walking and washing, for example. The water didn't seem as ice cold as the previous day. On the contrary, its refreshing coolness helped me to brace up and come back to reality, whether all these events could be called real. The tooth powder didn't seem to be such an outdated thing. A quick thought struck me that it's not that different from toothpaste. True. When I returned to the cabin, Olga Dmitrovna was already up. She was standing in front of the mirror and fixing her hair. Good morning, Simon. Morning. Because of a lack of sleep, my head was still singing and my thoughts were all jumbled together. However, I didn't regret waking up instead of my usual habit of sleeping in for 2 or 3 hours more. How come you got up so early? It just happened. And no neckerchief once again. Let me. I'll do it myself, not a big deal. On my way to the canteen. I don't think so. Do it now. Did you forget about the lineup before breakfast? How could I ever forget? And what's the lineup going to be about today? We'll discuss the agenda for the day. So what's the agenda? Frankly speaking, I didn't care for what might be on the agenda for our courageous pioneer troop. I was mostly interested in where our brave leader will send our little pioneer army for the following 12 to 15 hours. Maybe I could manage to avoid enemy locations. You'll find that out at the lineup. Ting! She gave me a wily smile. Olga Dmitrovna, you know, my stomach is getting upset. I'd rather, well, you know. I believe that's okay to miss the lineup once. It could get all nasty if I failed to control it right there. Where did all this courage come from? You have 5 more minutes. I'm afraid I need more time. Could you tell me right now, please? Sure, I'll try, but just in case it all goes down. Oh, fine. On our list for today is cleaning the camp locations, organizing the books in the library, some other minor tasks, and of course we have a ball in the evening. A ball. Watch yourself! You must take part in the camp activities today. You bet! Definitely, and now I'd rather... Come on, let's hit the road. I came out of the cabin and hid in the bushes behind it, waiting for Olga Dmitrovna to leave. Actually, I didn't have any particular reason to behave this way, but the voice within me kept telling me that I have nothing to do at the lineup. After the camp leader left, I went back to the cabin and decided to wait for breakfast there. Well, I'm not planning on taking part in community life today. Cleaning and organizing, that's not what someone in my situation should be doing. 2 days have passed, and I'm still right where I started. All the residents seemed to be perfectly ordinary people. They weren't involved in any conspiracy, weren't communicating with aliens, and had no idea about time warps. Of course, each of them is a bit peculiar, but these peculiarities do not seem out of the line at all. Moreover, if I had met any of these pioneers in my familiar world, I wouldn't suspect anything. They seemed to be even more normal and natural than, say, yours truly. This line of reasoning was quite logical. The illogical part was the absence of answers. Ordinary people in an extraordinary place. I've heard and seen that already somewhere. Dozens of pioneers, or even more, live their familiar lives and do their regular stuff day by day. They don't understand that the world around them is not what it looks like. Okay, but this is their point of view. As for me, I'm not acquainted with the world of the Sauvignat camp and its residents, even if they'd seem to behave the way normal people would under similar circumstances. I have to decide here and now, are those people involved in what's happening to me? Can they give me any answers? Or do I have to seek the truth elsewhere? It seems I overdid a bit with the thinking. Yeah, you usually do. There's no usual crowd of hungry pioneers near the canteen. Or even inside the canteen. Most of them probably had their breakfast before 9. That's even better. 2's company, 3's a crowd. Sarah was sitting in the farthest corner of the canteen, lazily picking with her fork at an amorphous lump that vaguely resembled porridge. Having breakfast with her seems like a good idea. We can have a chat in peace. Or at least try to have one. I was on the way to a table when somebody suddenly grabbed me by the sleeve. Zhenya, the librarian. Get your meal and come. We need to talk. What are you waiting for? I was a bit confused. Pardon, isn't this a bit too sudden? What's wrong? Get your meal and sit down. I suppose that she considers her behaviour completely normal. Sorry, but I promised Lena. Yeah. I was sure that Sarah wouldn't mind if I sat next to her. Hold on, wait a second. Sorry, maybe later. I gently loosened my sleeve from her grip and headed to the farthest corner of the canteen. I want to do what I want to do. Jenny was shouting something in my direction, but I tried to ignore her. Hi, good morning. Having heard the librarian shouting, Sarah had been stealing glances at me for a while. Morning. Strangely enough, she didn't blush, but smiled instead. Would you mind if I join you? I'll get my meal and be back in no time. Yeah, sure. In a minute, I was already sitting in front of her with a simple set of plates on a tray, porridge, 2 poached eggs, 4 pieces of wheat bread, and a boiled sausage, and a glass of compote made of unknown fruits and berries. Have a nice meal. Bon appetit. Thanks. I was trying to eat as neatly as I could, no chomping, smearing the food, or spilling the compote over myself. It seemed like eating like a human being and not like a hog was not that hard at all. As usual, Sarah remained silent, which meant I should start the conversation. Going to the dance tonight? Probably. She was silent for a while. And you? I don't know yet. Though I didn't want to go there at all. I didn't like dance parties since my school days. Why so? What do you mean? My mind was still far away in my school times. Why don't you want to go? I didn't say I don't want to. Okay then. But if you're inviting me... Sarah turned red and looked away. I don't really. Sorry, just kidding. I felt confused. I better not joke like that. Fine, Sarah said indifferently and focused on her food, while her face turned even more red. Why am I stuck on this dance as if I have nothing else to talk about? But wait, is there actually anything? By the way, maybe you know what Zhenya wanted to ask me? Huh? I mean, when I just came in, she wanted something from me. I don't know. I see. The conversation reached a dead end, so I tried to seem fully focused on my meal. Sarah finished her breakfast first. I should go. See you later. See you. I was finishing chewing on the sausage, which tasted like a twisted pear cable. I wonder if they have internet access here. I guess not. A pioneer sitting at the next table noticed me talking to myself and stared at me. I smiled and waved to him in return. After such a friendly greeting, he, for some reason, left the canteen quickly without finishing his breakfast. Done with the food, it's time to search for clues. Some time later, I finally came to the infirmary. I have nothing to do in that place. Though the nurse seemed quite caring, it's better to keep a distance from her. Such benevolence is actually scary. She may know something, but I just hadn't had the courage to enter the infirmary. Moreover, I had no reason to. Not a single one. Immersed in my own thoughts, I didn't notice the nurse, who was standing on the porch. Hi there, pioneer. She came closer. You must be sick. Did you come for medicine? No, I was just wandering around. Oh, a truant, I see. But if you're here, I have a serious task for you. I gave her a look of inquiry. The word made me feel uneasy. It sounded like something inevitable. The nurse smiled spitefully. You both will help me to make an inventory of the supplied medicine, which arrived today. Both? Who are we? Perhaps I misheard, but what word could be confused with both? Hi again. Sarah emerged from behind the nurse's back. It seemed strange that I hadn't noticed her until now. Come here after dinner. I have explained everything to Lena, or Sarah, but she will tell you what to do. Medicine, huh? Supplied today? But Olga Dmitrievna told me that no bus would arrive in the next couple of days. So there were visitors to our camp today? Yes, they arrived from the city this morning. Why are you asking? Just curious. All right then, pioneer. So tonight, after dinner, you'll be here. Maybe Sarah was barely noticeable this whole time. Surely she's able to remain invisible like a skilled ninja. I could do it on my own. Strange, she seemed more spirited during lunch. No way, there are lots of boxes, and a pioneer is always ready. Isn't that so, pioneer? She gazed at me and smiled menacingly. I didn't want to spend the whole evening doing something like this, and I've also got more important things to do. But rejecting this request would be really improper. If it wasn't Sarah who was standing there, I would definitely think my way out. Okay, I'll come. Nice. That's how a true pioneer should answer. Even after these words, I barely came a step closer to the be prepared, always prepared motto. Then you can go. I looked at Sarah, who was still staring at the ground. I guess all that time she spent staring at the ground was enough to learn everything there is to know about life and habits of different insects. Plus, Sarah likes to read, so she probably read many biological, botanical, and so on books. Perhaps she wants to become an entomologist. Where will you head next? Sarah's words drew me away from my obscure thoughts. We'd been standing at the square for some time, and my speculations about bugs' lives were only an attempt to escape this awkward situation. Though why did I see it as awkward? Just don't forget, alright? Don't forget what? Well, tonight, after dinner, at the infirmary. Her face got a slightly grumpy look to it. No way, that's impossible. Alright. Right after dinner, I'm at your service. I thought too late. At my words, Sarah blushed even harder. I need to find a way to ease the situation. Why did the nurse ask you to do it? I don't know. I was just sitting on the bench and reading a book when she came and... It's smart to ask a reliable person who would never say no. Okay. Well then, after dinner. Okay. I'll be off then. Yeah, sure. She walked off somewhere beside the clubs and I just stood at the square for some time. So what's next? I decided to visit my cabin in order to collect my phone. I don't know where I'll find myself today, but having a watch is always useful, though having a wristwatch is much easier. Suddenly I heard a different tune, which was cutting through the usual noise of the camp. Sounds like an electric guitar. 3 repeating chords, no more. But this melody still felt somehow warm, as if a vacuum tube-based audio amplifier was used. Could there be such a luxury here? The sound was definitely coming from somewhere near the stage area. I wonder who could that be? Who cares? I better keep looking for answers. Who cares? I better keep on looking for answers. Whoever that is, what's the big deal? I have better things to do. I came back to the leader's cabin. Olga Dmitrievna was lying lazily on her bed and reading a book. Simon, what are you doing here? That's what I could ask her too. I've forgotten something, so I came back. You were absent at the lineup. Oh yeah, I apologize. Alright. Nevertheless, you should do something useful today, just as I planned. But I have my own vision of what useful means. Like, you can go to the square to help with the cleaning. Praise is in charge there. I want to see Praise. Strange, I've just been there and haven't seen anyone. Or you could visit the boys at the electronics club. They asked me for a hand. Those fathers of invention again. Finally, you could help at the sports club. What are they up to? They're renewing the pitch, fixing the benches, changing the goal nets, and so on. Honestly, none of those options suited me. I kinda wanna ask Praise out, though. Why is she always trying to burden me with work? Seriously, except for Praise, No one ever works here, while some people in particular are enjoying their free time with a useful spirit. Every one of the leaders' attempts to keep me busy seemed to serve only one purpose: to prevent me from finding out my current location. Really, all the deep and vital questions concerning my existence are swept away by a broom, together with all the rubbish and litter. In my case, taking some time to work would probably pay off, but just like someone suffering gangrene and rejecting an amputation, I will stand by my beliefs. You know, I already had my own arrangements. Oh really? What kind of arrangements? She bucked up. Well, I can't just tell her what I'm really thinking about. On the other hand, why not? No, it's too dangerous. At least now I maintain a fragile balance and nothing is threatening me. Everything seems that way. Just as I thought. What exactly she thought remains secret. You probably have not realized how important it is to participate in social life. This is the only way to become a pioneer capable of being a role model. I didn't want to sit through another long lecture, so I decided to accept one of the offers. Sometimes the answers in this world can be found in the most unexpected places. Very true. Or at least so I wanted to believe. So, should I choose for you? The leader's voice turned authoritative. I can do it myself, thank you. I mumbled and left the cabin. I'd rather help Praise. Yes. Always choose the lesser of two evils, they say. Well, of three in this case. Praise wasn't even at all, so my choice was obvious. Any rational being keeps his house clean, but I usually perceived house cleaning as somewhat akin to gym workouts. Yeah, it's good for you, but not my cup of tea at all. However, I like the ideas of painting benches, or of helping two future geniuses of Russian, or Soviet for science even less. There were about a dozen pioneers at the square. Where did they all come from, I wonder? I approached Praise. Hi there. Oh hi, you've come to help? Well, not on my own free will, of course. I thought it over again. I see. Take this broom, your area is right next to the monument. Frankly speaking, there was nothing to sweep there. It seemed pretty clean to me, though some rubbish was still laying around. After sweeping for a while, I came back to Praise, who was sitting on a bench and taking a break. What a nice day, eh? Yeah, though it's a bit too hot. She shaded her eyes with a hand and looked at the sky. You're like a tireless worker of communist labour. Oh, come on, I just like to help others. That's good. And what about you? What about me? Well, it seems to me that you find community service a bit of a burden? Well, probably. Why is that? I don't really know. Seriously, she can't expect me to just unload all of my ideas concerning this point on her. She might drown in them, God forbid. Maybe you just don't like company. That's actually quite possible. There was some truth in Slavia's words, in Praise's words. I suppose that she was good at reading other people's minds. Or at least at reading mine. Though, how can that be possible if even I find it hard to understand myself sometimes? What are you going to do when this session is over? What do you mean? Well, are you going to enter college? Or do you want to master a profession? In the USSR, a person finishing high school typically had to choose between either getting a college degree, typically achieving a status of engineer or scientist, or going into secondary vocational school, thus mastering a profession. Probably college. I've already achieved grand mastery at all my professions. Watching anime and surfing the net. Amen, brother. I don't know yet. What about you? We have a small farm back home, so I want to help my parents there. It sounded pretty strange. Are there any private farms in the USSR, where all farming has to be collective? But I decided not to go into details. And what are your parents doing? My parents were not a good subject for discussion. It's not that my parents are not good. Quite the opposite, they are kind-hearted people. But it's not the right time for such a discussion. My father works at the local council and my mother is a teacher. That wasn't actually true. More like a half-truth. Cool. She really seemed to consider that a cool thing. I guess so. The conversation had reached a dead end, so I was trying to take my eyes off Praise and kept gazing at my feet, up in the sky or just looking around. I mean, she's beautiful, look at her. You know, I'm pretty sure you'll also be fine. Praise looked at me thoughtfully. Now what was that for? And what was that also about? Thanks, I mumbled. But what do you mean? I suppose that you happen to be too pessimistic at times. Isn't that way too straightforward? Maybe. We're going to be alright. Maybe. After this conversation, I felt ill at ease. On the one hand, there was nothing special in her words. In general, almost any person in Praise's shoes would come to a similar conclusion. Nevertheless, and I felt, and not for the first time, that she could see right through me. So, let's get to cleaning. Aha! She smiled and took the broom. I never thought that cleaning could bring such a deep pleasure. No, I wasn't upset because of this conversation. On the contrary, I was glad to hear that from her. For the first time ever, somebody was discussing my life without criticizing me, without giving any stupid advice based on their own personal experience, without intending to go through my head, and without making some far-reaching conclusions. I was just glad that somebody supported me. No, that's not quite right. I was just glad that praise supported me. In a short while, the music played around the camp, calling us for lunch. I put away the broom with a sigh of relief and a sense of accomplishment and went to the canteen. Who is marching forward in a row? It is our pioneer squad. Pioneers in a row usually march to the canteen in the Sauvignon camp. I was looking for a place where no one would disturb me, like what happened before, just so I can eat in peace, and for that I have to at least not be the last to come. But I was pretty sure, whatever happens here happens whether I wanted to or not. Yeah, I look like I'm last again. The canteen was crammed as full as an egg. Olga Dmitrievna was standing at the entrance, guarding it like a hawk. Well, Simon, were you working hard today? Hard enough. Well done, truly well done, and the hardest is yet to come. I just bet. Fine, take a seat next to the girls. She pointed at the table next to the pillar. Praise, ULYANA and Sarah were already sitting there. Not bad company. At least not the worst. I got my meal and went up to them. Do you mind if I sit here? I caught myself sounding a bit clueless. There were no other free places anyway. No, of course not. Please do. Sarah remained silent. Today the meal consisted of a plate of borscht. I suspected there was some meat lurking in it, but I had no evidence. Some poultry, chances are chickenus domesticus, with fried potatoes and a traditional glass of compote. I found myself liking the local food more and more. I guess I just came to the conclusion that I have no other choice, which means that there's no use in complaining. Thank God there's something to eat. Coming to the ball tonight? I don't know. He'll come, he got nowhere to go, ULYANA said happily. You will come for sure. Of course. I can't miss the opportunity to watch you make a fool of yourself. She got it right, so I decided not to reply. And what about you? I asked Sarah. Yes, she replied briefly. See, you should go too then, said Praise, as if leaving me no choice. Don't forget to wear your tailcoat. Apparently ULYANA was so pleased with this joke that she laughed out loud. But I really had nothing to wear. My wardrobe was just a pioneer uniform and my winter clothes, which would be inappropriate even in the evening. And what will you be dressed in, entertainer? Secret! Will it be a little dress like in a kindergarten's matinee? ULYANA turned red. Looks like I managed to offend her. No, I'll wear a biohazard suit, just so I don't catch an infection from you. I wonder, what kind of infection are you afraid of catching from me? Enough, you guys, don't quarrel. Idiocy, of course. Looks like ULYANA was still highly pleased with herself, as she thought, brilliant answer again. You know, if you already have the flu, you can't catch a cold. Two can play at that game. What are you implying? Oh, nothing? Nothing at all. I looked away slyly. Do you mean that? She went red again. I don't mean anything. Guys, Given that it was Sarah who interfered, it probably really was time to stop. You're asking for it, you're going to get it. What? You'll finally wise up? Instead of replying, ULYANA grabbed a plate filled with borscht and tipped it over my head. This game met an unexpected finale. Oh, you little. She jumped up and tried to run away. But this time she won't get away. I grabbed her hand. And now what? I can't just smash her head against the table. This pantomime lasted a few seconds. Suddenly ULYANA skillfully grabbed a full of compote and splashed it on my face. That way she managed to get free of my grip. She dashed off towards the counter and I chased after her. This resulted in several flip tables, a pile of smashed tablewares, 5 pioneers crippled by various injuries and full exhaustion of both parties. A draw, sort of. A belligerent draw, with too much belligerence. We stood before each other and breathed heavily. Tell me you won't behave this way again. And you? Olga Dmitrievna snuck up on us from behind. When you think about it, such a riot couldn't go unnoticed. Well, are you satisfied with yourselves now? Her voice appeared to be calm, but I was sure she was just about to explode. And who's going to clean up all this mess? Exactly what happened. Who, I'm asking you, who? Him, replied ULYANA with complete confidence. Her, I objected less confidently. Both. The camp leader brought a conclusive end to this ongoing argument. Generally, I wasn't sure that my share of the blame is more than hers. Although ULYANA didn't have a drop of guilt on her face. Beat it! I'm not cleaning, ain't nobody got time for that. This is his fault, he started it first. No it isn't. Oh yes it is. I'm not going to sort out all that nonsense. Simon, go grab a mop, a bucket, some cloths, you know, that kind of stuff in the closet. And as for you, she looked at ULYANA with such a burning gaze that I felt a bit sorry for the girl. You? Start to pick up the broken tableware immediately. Olga Dmitrievna took a deep breath and continued. You're nothing but trouble. How many times have I told you? I decided to skip the lecture and went to the closet that appeared to be near the exit. Suddenly, a perfect idea flashed in my head. Why don't I just run away? Sure, Olga Dmitrievna has caught us already, but I'm not the one to blame. Of course, I'm not that true pioneer she keeps talking about, but in comparison to ULYANA. Anyway, she's the principal culprit. It's not like I have anything better to do than cleaning up the mess here. I have to seek answers. The truth is out there somewhere, somehow flashed through my mind. I'm going to stay and help, of course I am. Nah, running away is hardly a good idea. For starters, Olga Dmitrievna has caught me already, and dashing off would only aggravate my punishment. And, as well as that, I was indeed partially guilty. Of course, it was all her fault. But if I hadn't reacted like that, perhaps we could have avoided this thrashing. Probably. I opened the cabinet and took out a broom, a mop, and a dustpan. Olga Dmitrievna wasn't anywhere near ULYANA by the time I returned. She's gone. Can't you see for yourself? ULYANA looked upset. All her youthful spirit vanished without a trace. Okay, hang on a sec. I'll go and wash myself a bit first. I shot her an angry glance and headed towards an exit. I washed the scraps of lunch off myself and returned to the canteen. Well, no escaping it. We have to clean it up. It's all because of you. Just a single gaze from her gave me the creeps. Of course it is. It's me who's guilty of everything. It's me who's a local natural hazard. Okay, shut up. Still, it's kind of strange that she's not trying to avoid this cleanup duty. ULYANA had a solid opportunity to just run away and leave me alone, but somehow she did the exact opposite, diligently gathering broken plate fragments, mopping the floor, picking up chairs and tables. In fact, she was so fast that I had a tough time keeping up with her. Well now, aren't you all suddenly acting all goody-goody? It's not like I want to spend the whole day here, you dork. She still sounded irritated. Listen, you've got to understand that you can't behave like that. At least not to such an extent. For some reason, I decided to try and give her a moral lecture. I haven't done a thing. It was you who was calling me names. ULYANA grabbed a bucket and mop and went to the farthest corner of the canteen. Looks like she's still angry. Looking back at the mountain of broken tableware, I finally began to understand the scope of the catastrophe. We're lucky that at least the forks and spoons are made of metal. We still have something to eat with. But there are hardly any plates left. Hey! Ulyana called me with a shout. I went over to her. I don't get it. Why do you hate me so much? Aw, I don't hate you. Her face became so serious that I was ready to believe that it wasn't just yet another trick of hers. Why do you think so? I have no idea. That's exactly why I'm asking you. I don't hate you. I really don't. It's just that sometimes you behave like, well, you know. As simple as that, but still true. Like what? I have no idea. She lifted her gaze to me, boiling with curiosity. Well, for starters, what's the big idea in pouring the compote all over me? You were asking for it. She smiled for the first time since we started cleaning. Yeah, sure. I heaved a deep sigh. So what do you expect from others then? Nothing, she replied acidly. This discussion was over, so I just continued cleaning up in silence. It took us a few hours to fix up the canteen. At last, all the broken tableware was gone. Chairs and tables were in the designated places, the floor looked clean. We were sitting together with ULYANA next to the food counter, breathing heavily, deservedly resting. Now you see how much effort has to be put in because of a silly trick. But I'm not tired at all, though the sweat pouring down her face told the opposite story. Oh well, good for you. Good for you! So, what are we going to do next? I don't know about you, but I'd rather go. Nope, that's not all. You have to... She hesitated. To help me with another little thing. Thinking of another silly prank? You bet. She was smiling broadly. I'm not your man here. I'm more than fed up with just one punishment for today. Okay, here's the deal. If you help me now, there won't be any more pranks. Sure, that was an inviting prospect, but somehow I couldn't bring myself to trust ULYANA even for a moment. Well, it wouldn't hurt to ask. So what is your cunning plan? We're going to steal the candy. What? I should have expected something like that. Candy is for kids. Soon the chef will go out to dump the trash. Nobody's gonna see us. Count me out. Ah, whatever. She grunted and turned away. Then I'll do it myself. And I won't allow... I couldn't even finish the sentence, as ULYANA had already jumped over the counter, ran to the cabinet, opened the door and started rummaging through it. Hey, cut that! It's not like you haven't got enough problems with Olga Dmitrievna. She didn't reply. You won't get away with just cleaning duty for something like this. ULYANA closed the cabinet. She held a huge bag of candy in her hands. Ah, you little, put it back! She stuck out her tongue at me and dashed off through the back door. I couldn't just leave it at that. I darted off in pursuit. Sure, the girl had quite a head start, but I still funneled all my energy into the chase. I won't lose her again. We ran through the square, turned at the music club building, and came out onto the forest trail. I almost caught ULYANA when she stopped abruptly. I couldn't pull up sharply, so I crashed into her, sending us sprawling. We rolled down onto the grass. Gotcha! I gave a victorious shout. No, you didn't, she replied with an ashamed tone. ULYANA was lying under me. Her face was right next to mine. I felt her erratic breathing and the heat of her body. Sure, right now she's only a child, but soon enough she'll become a woman. It was pretty embarrassing. You gonna rape me? She said, coming back to her senses. You want me to? Anyway, it was more like a game to her. Sure do! She gave me a cunning smile and snorted quietly. Or was it just my imagination? I'm not really in the mood. Ah, whatever. ULYANA reached up and bit me on the nose. I wasn't expecting that and even pulled back a little. Just a moment of hesitation was enough for her to wrestle out and run a dozen feet away. That was weird. Watch it! You're gonna regret this later. She laughed out loud and disappeared into the woods. The candy bag was left lying on the ground near me. I wonder if she dropped it on purpose. It's getting near dinner time, so I had to hurry up and return the candy. And preferably, very preferably, stay under the radar. Of course, I'll explain the situation. It was ULYANA who had stolen them. But who's gonna believe me? Olga Dmitrievna was already waiting for me at the entrance to the canteen. Good job, Simon. On what? I hid the bag of sweets behind my back. The bag was transparent and too big to put in my pocket. I was talking about the cleanup. Everything is clean and tidy. Well, yeah. Ah, where is ULYANA? I wish I knew. She'll come soon. Okay then, go and have your dinner. I entered the canteen. To my utter lack of surprise, it was full. Now I really don't know how to return the bag without being noticed. Sure, I could do it again in the evening, but what do I do with it now? Simon! I turned around. Praise was standing in front of me. Wow, what's that? She looked at the bag that I didn't manage to hide in time. Caught red-handed, or more like sweet-handed. Time to prepare for a scolding. These are sweets. Where from? I stole them, damn it. Got them from ULYANA. Oh, I see. Same old song and dance. What do you mean? It's not the first time she's stolen sweets. And why am I not surprised? Let me handle this. Thanks. Praise saves the day yet again. She took the bag and headed to the buffet. I had no desire to listen to what she was going to say while returning the sweets, so I started to look around the canteen looking for a place to sit. It seems that I'll have to share a dinner table with Electronic and Shurik. Oh, those guys. There were no more places to sit. What's happening, gentlemen? Every time I had to deal with them, I got an itching desire to tease them, or at least to drop some cheeky or cocky banter. It might be too risky to behave that way, but the Electronic brothers were my primary source of positive emotions. How are you doing? Fine, what about you? Hits and misses. Did something happen? Lots of stuff. Mind sharing? Nah, some other time maybe. Suit yourself. He made a helpless gesture. We're going to the ball after dinner. Electronic giggled. I know that. Who would you want to ask out? I hadn't thought about it yet. I have. What about you? It seemed that this question caught him off guard. Ask ULYANA, that would make her happy. No thanks. Electronic furiously waved his hands. And you, Shurik, you gotta ask Alisa out. Thanks, I'll pass. He looked calmer than his mate. Oh, come on guys, it'd be fun. And in any case, we've got things to do. We still have to finish the robot. Oh, that's a marvellous idea. Ask your robot out. Can it dance? It can't even walk yet. Shurik probably missed the point completely. It was a joke. Why, it would be a great demonstration of our achievements in front of the camp. And what would we have to show to them? Yeah, you're right. They both stared at the plates disappointedly. I guess they haven't built it yet. Dinner was over and the pioneers started to disperse. Well, what do you wear for the bowl? I asked Shurik and Electronic. We don't have anything special to wear. We'll go as we are. He indicated his pioneer uniform. They don't seem to care about their appearance at all. Well, why should I care then? Wearing my winter clothes isn't an option, so I'll just go like this. When does it start? After 9 o'clock. Got it. I left the canteen and deeply inhaled the fresh evening air. I remembered those rare dances I used to go to at school. Hesitation, insecurity, even fear. I couldn't dance. I didn't know how to react if someone had invited me. I wouldn't dare to invite someone myself. All in all, I felt pretty uncomfortable about it. And it was even more unpleasant to watch others having fun. It wasn't envy. More like it was a disconcerting feeling that people were able to enjoy something so odd for me. I thought that there was still lots of time till the ball, so I could sleep a little to be fresh in the evening. Entering the cabin leader's cabin, I flopped onto the bed instantly and shut my eyes. Strangely enough, I got up right on time even without an alarm. The clock was showing 9. Such a rare thing to happen. Yeah, I didn't miss it. I felt sluggish though. Probably it wasn't the best idea to sleep during the day after all. Well, I have to go. In a couple of minutes I was standing at the square. The loudspeakers and some DJ equipment were installed near the monument and the trees were decorated with light strings. Ah, a typical country ball. A lot of pioneers were around, but no familiar faces. So I just sat down on a bench and waited. I didn't have to dance after all. Maybe I'll be able to just sit and chat with someone. Hey there, sad face. ULYANA. Here to suggest something? Come on, let's dance. It's way too early. There isn't even any music yet. Blah, you're so boring. Yeah, I'm not the merriest person for such an event. She ran away. So ULYANA did wear something like an evening dress. Pretty funny. Hi. Oh, praise. Hey. She sat down by my side. How's the evening? Fine. Why are you so sad? I'm not. Okay, well, dancing will surely cheer you up. Maybe. Don't forget to save one dance for me. I won't. She laughed and ran towards the music equipment. The situation was getting serious. I wouldn't be able to sit through the whole dance party. Hi. Sarah came closer. Oh, hi, you're here too. Is that such a wonder? Yes. Okay. Gonna light this party up. The joke fell flat. Sarah blushed and looked down. Well, maybe that's not the best idea, setting things on fire. Okay, then I'll guess yeah. Awkward. She left. It looks like the whole camp was at the square. The pioneers formed large groups, talked, joked around and laughed. At the DJ's panel, ULYANA argued loudly with Olga Dmitrievna about their playlist for the evening. And here it is. The music started to play. I didn't know the band or the song, but if you ask me, I really felt that I'd tag it Soviet pop classics, a la Pugacheva, or something. The pioneers just stood there for some time, as if not hearing the music. It's always hard to take the first step, especially if you're pretty sure that you'll be the only one to take it. ULYANA seemed not to grasp that simple truth. She reached the center of the square with a few bounds and cried out loud, "What are you standing around for?" and started to wiggle ridiculously. Wiggle is the exact word. That's cute. You couldn't find a better one. It looked so silly and funny that I couldn't resist laughing. She noticed it. Hey, Simon! I pretended I couldn't hear her. Stop pretending, come over here! I kept ignoring her. The pioneers slowly realized that they weren't too sexy for this party and started to dance. It looked really silly from my point of view. Shaking one's arms and legs to the beat of long forgotten hits. Come on, get real. Of course I couldn't dance at all, but this thing couldn't be called a dance either. Hey Simon, what are you sitting there for? Don't you want to dance? I was so deep in thoughts that I hadn't even noticed praise. Not really. Are you sure? She smiled. Maybe later. Damn, what am I even doing here? One more invitation to dance would completely ruin my pride. I started to think about an appropriate excuse to leave, and I was looking for the moment to do so, but then I saw Sarah. She was slowly heading my way. Maybe we should go? Where to? I was so immersed in my thoughts that I didn't really get what she meant. To the infirmary. But if you want to stay here and dance. I doubt she was going to dance. Lena had stood aside the whole evening. No, I'll pass. Let's go. At least I won't have to stand here like a shy nerd. Seriously, trying to conceal myself in the corner wasn't very pleasant. A bull in a china shop would be more agile than me on the dance floor. I didn't have even the slightest intention of dancing in the first place. Well, shall we go to the infirmary? Sarah brought me out from my thoughts. We'd just been standing near the canteen for some time. Yes, sure, thank you. What for? Surprise. Well, for getting me out of there. I shouldn't have told her that dancing is not my thing. It's, you know, so boring there. Seems to me that you don't like dancing. There was not a trace of sarcasm on a truthful, even childlike face. Seems like she really doesn't understand. Yes, don't like it at all. I'm not into it. Me too. No one ever invites me to dance. Sarah blushed and stared at the ground as usual. Strange. What's strange? Well, that no one ever invites you. You think so? Again, she looked at me with an expression of surprise and a lack of understanding. I got confused and couldn't find what to say in return right away. Yes, certainly. If I like dancing, I would have invited you for sure. Thanks. We didn't say a word for the rest of the way. Sarah obviously felt too confused by my awkward compliment, and I just didn't know what topic to choose for conversation. It was completely dark by that time, and the gloomy building of the infirmary, covered in the night mist, looked strongly like a haunted house. I felt a strong desire to turn around and walk away without making any noise. I threw a quick glance at Sarah and noticed that she looked like usual, shy, modest, uncertain, but not in any way scared. It just made me even more uncomfortable. It can't be that she's not scared, while I... Suddenly an owl hooted nearby and I shivered. Sarah seemed either not to hear it, not pay attention to it, or just not be scared by it at all. I could hardly believe the third option, but I didn't want to ask her about it, giving away my own fear. I entered the infirmary and found a switch in the dark. Oof. Will the nurse come later? She won't come. Okay, she won't come, understood. Wait a second. What do you mean she won't come? Ah, I see. It is not that I am afraid to be alone with Sarah, indoors, at night, with no one around. Only in the movies does something happen under such circumstances. It is just that I am with Sarah and not with ULYANA or Praise. And it seriously changed my attitude toward things happening. There are the boxes. She pointed at the messy stack of boxes. There were about a dozen of them. It would take much more than 10 minutes of work. I put one of the boxes on the table before me and started to take out its contents. There were bandages, lots of little packs of bandages. Here, take this. Sarah gave me a piece of paper. There were some fields and I quickly realized that I should put the name in the left, the description in the middle, if there is one, and the quantity in the right field. It's not a database, but it'll do. The work started in full swing. Simon? What? I looked at Sarah. She stared at me for a couple of moments, seemingly making up her mind to do or say something, but then lowered her gaze again. No, never mind. It was physically hard for me to just sit without saying a word. However, I didn't dare to speak first, not only because I couldn't think of a good topic for conversation, but that I was just feeling shy. This girl could be easily embarrassed by anything. Simon? Yes? You are counting them all over again. Indeed, I had started to take out and put into the database the bandages I had already counted. Guess I'm nervous. Oh, sorry. She didn't answer. Hey, where are you from? I mean, where did you come from? Where were you born? I mean, where do you live? Well, there is a town not far from here. Not far from here. Where is that? Somewhere. Looks like she doesn't want to talk about it. Is Sarah hiding something too? It is explainable in the case of Olga Dmitrovna, but in Sarah's case, it is absolutely not like her. Is it a secret? No. Just... So, is it somewhere in the south too? I should have thought of something more original. Every single one of my sudden ideas turned out the wrong way, and this attempt to play spy worked out even worse. And I thought about south just because the only pioneer camp of the Soviet Union I remembered was Arctic. Yes. Sarah hesitated to reply. I couldn't quite tell if she was lying or not. Don't you like it here? I wonder what part of what made her think that. Absolutely not, I like it here. My false friendliness sounded very insincere, grating on the ears. What about you? I like it. It's so calm here, there are lots of books in the library. And the people are nice. Nice, but not all of them. Why? Did I really say that last bit out loud? Turns out I did. Well, you know. ULYANA, for example, she's like an Energizer battery, with a completely unbalanced point of power application. Battery? What? Maybe I really was sent back in time. Never mind. Or Elisa, the saying, a pioneer is the kid's role model, certainly doesn't describe her. If everyone started following her example, it would be a complete disaster for the country in 20 years or so. However, thinking about it now, you can draw the conclusion that everybody did follow the example of Alisa Dvachevska in the 80s, where I probably am right now. Wow, that's like a giant inside joke. She's not like that, actually. Not like that. Not like what? Not like what you said about her. To begin with, I hadn't said anything. I just stated the fact that she is not the best example to follow. Well, maybe. Sounds like you know her well enough. Probably. I asked that question only to keep the conversation going and didn't expect an answer like that. Elisa and Sarah were so different. The idea that they could be so close was unbelievable for me. We came from the same town, as if she had foreseen my question. We have common friends, even though Elisa is 1 year older. Okay, it's a little bit strange. Oh, not like that. I'm just surprised. Everyone gets surprised. Sarah smiled a bit. I took the second box. Analgenum. Activated charcoal, analgenum, activated charcoal, saline solution, potassium permanganate, furetylene, analgenum. Sarah always spoke in simple sentences. How can I communicate with this person if every conversation turns into a monologue or just an awkward silence? I wasn't quite satisfied with such a state of things. Sometimes it looked like she's hiding something behind her mask of shyness. But what? You know, I read a book not that long ago. Do you like science fiction? Not much. Damn, another failure. Well, if you don't like it, then what books do you like? Different kinds. The conversation wasn't going smoothly and I had to turn it off for the better. Yeah, we're not getting anything. Who knows why, but I thought about the dance again. Feelings of uneasiness, discomfort, and even shame overwhelmed me once more. Looks like I'm not that different from Sarah when it comes to such things. I'm shy and I'm afraid of things I don't understand or can't do. I should probably overcome my own fears before anything else. And this will help me to understand her better. I've made up my mind. There are only a couple of boxes left. Yes. Hey, I've got an idea. How about we go to the canteen afterwards? I think the tape recorder was taken back there. What is it doing in the canteen, anyway? I hesitated. What for? Her sincere look made it clear she hadn't the slightest idea of what I was talking about or what I was going to offer. Well, frankly speaking, I just don't know how to dance. That's why I don't like it. That's the reason I was so confused back there. Maybe I could thank you by dancing with you. But She stopped sorting out the medicine for a moment, blushed, and looked right into my eyes. I got a bit stubborn. It really was a stupid idea. It's okay if you don't want to. I don't insist. What if someone sees us? I certainly didn't think about that. It's not a big deal, but everybody is asleep already, and no one is going to the canteen at night. How will we get in there? I should have thought about that beforehand. Well, I did have Praise's keys, but didn't want to mention them. Someone could get the wrong idea about me stealing them. That moment I regretted that I still didn't get my cell phone from the leader's cabin. Olga Dmitrievna talked my head off then and I forgot it. Anyway, I had to say something to get away from this awkward topic. What kind of music do you like? Different kinds. I'm not really into it. Then let's imagine that it's playing now. I mean that we hear it playing. How's that? Like it plays in your head. I still remember the melody the pioneers were dancing to. The music and the words were really clear in my memory. I'm not sure I can do it. You can just try. Probably. I've got to consent. In Sarah's case, even that probably can be considered yes. We silently sorted medical supplies for the rest of the time, writing down their names and quantities. I should pay more attention to every word I say after such luck. I stayed silent most of the time though. Soon we finished the last box. I gave Sarah the filled-in list and started to stare at her, like I saw Bigfoot riding a unicycle while juggling piglets. An odd image. It was amazing, frightening, and above all, mesmerizing. She suddenly broke out laughing. What? That look of yours, what about it? It's just funny. Really? Yes, so where are we going to go? Where? Her last words unsettled me. I completely forgot what we were talking about. Frankly speaking, I had completely left this world for a moment. Well, you know, where are we going to dance? Sarah blushed right away and her face took on a strange expression of shyness, uneasiness and fear. "Ah yes, sorry, I was just lost in thought. Let's go to the pier." I don't know why I chose that place. Maybe because you could run into a pioneer at the square, in the residential area or near the canteen, but not on the pier. That's what I had thought at least. Or maybe because of the large bright moon reflecting on the water in the night. And it is a full moon today. I don't know how, but this solution just offered itself. If you don't like it, then we can... No, it's a really nice place. Sarah locked the door and we made our way to the pier. Night fell on the sleeping camp. Should we follow the road? Why, it will be faster through the forest. There is a nice path there. It's dark there. Are you afraid? Not really. If you want to. Okay. But can I? Oh, without finishing, she grabbed onto my arm. Is it okay with you? Now it was my turn to blush. Why is the boob bigger than the other one? Of course. It was hardly a forest though, more like a small grove between the camp and the pier. About 100 meters long. I would never have thought that there would be anything to be afraid of, even on my own, but it just seemed like Sarah's fear was contagious. The branches swayed over us. I shuddered and Sarah clung to my arm even more strongly. Don't be afraid, it must be a squirrel. Yeah. We reached the pier. The night was really beautiful, yes. I walked closer to the river and called Sarah. Look! The pier, the boathouse and the moon were reflecting in the water. It looked like another world with the surface of the water being the door to Wonderland. You could just jump and find yourself on the other side. May I have this dance? I extended my arm to her and bowed clumsily. Sarah hesitated. I must have overdone it with my mannerism. There's nothing to fear, I'm no good at it either. Why either? She never said she couldn't dance, though now it was kind of obvious. Okay. Sarah gave me her hand. I led her a bit aside and gently put my arms round her waist. We just stood like that for a few moments. Cheers! And with that, I will cut the episode here. I hope you guys are having a fantastic time and enjoying it. I will be up with the next episode as soon as I can.